I'm glad you're here with Grow with Miss Nancy. Do you remember last week we were talking about Queen Esther? She's the queen now. Remember Vashti? She said no to the king, and that is a no-no. And she ended up getting pushed aside, and now Esther is queen. And she's living with her cousin Mordecai. Now today, we're going to talk about Mordecai, her cousin, for just a minute. Mordecai was one of the officials in the kingdom, in the government that the King Xerxes, had set up. And every day he would sit in the gate of the kingdom, or the area where they were, and that's where the officials were. Well, one day he overheard two fellas talking about doing something to get rid of and overthrow King Xerxes. Well, Mordecai knew that was wrong, and so he told Queen Esther, who told King Xerxes, and these two fellas who were doing bad were gotten rid of. Mordecai felt really good about that. That was a good thing. One thing Mordecai did not feel good about was this fella by the name of Haman. Now, Haman was another official in the government, and actually he was really high up in the government. He was so high up that he was right under the king. He had a big job, but he also had a big ego. He thought he was the most wonderful person, and he wanted people to bow down to him when he walked past them. So if Haman were to walk past you, he expected you to bow low, almost as if you were worshiping him. Well, Mordecai thought that was crazy. He wasn't going to worship anybody but God, and so he refused to do it. Made Haman mad, but he couldn't really do anything about it. And Mordecai, every day when Haman walked by, he would just stand there. Everybody else is bowing, and Mordecai is just standing there, not doing that. Haman got more and more angry with him. Well, one night, King Xerxes had a really tough time going to sleep. Now, back then, the kings would have somebody in their court keep a record of things that go on every day. Just sort of like, I don't know, keeping a journal. If you go in the Bible and you read 1st and 2nd Chronicles and 1st and 2nd Kings in our Bible, it talks about what happened with all the different kings. Well, so Xerxes was doing the same thing. He was having people in his government write down what was going on every day. And so this one night when he couldn't sleep, he called for somebody to get that journal and let's just read in it and see what's been going on. Maybe that'll help me calm down and go to sleep. I'm having trouble. And he heard about the time when Mordecai found out about these two guys that were trying to overthrow the king. And he said, well, did anybody do anything for that Mordecai fella? And they realized, no, they hadn't done anything at all. So when Haman came in the next time, the king said to Haman, tell me if it was you, what you would do to honor somebody who did a really great thing. Well, I already told you that Haman had a really big ego. He was full of pride. And he said, I think this is me, so what would I like? I think I would like, I think what you should do, King Xerxes, is to give that man a wonderful robe from the robes that you have, and put him on one of your magnificent horses and walk with him throughout the town and have a high official shouting, this is what the king does for awesome people, thinking that it was going to be him. King Xerxes said, oh, what a wonderful idea. Let's do that for Mordecai. Haman was he was so surprised. And to make things worse, King Xerxes said, and Haman, I want you to be the one to walk him around on the horse. So to honor Mordecai, Haman had to walk along while Mordecai was sitting on that magnificent horse wearing that beautiful robe and shout, "This is what the king does for awesome people." Oh, Haman didn't like that. We'll talk more about that later. But I wanted you to hear that part of this story because it kind of fits in with everything. Well, I'll see you next week. I hope you're going to be here because we're going to talk more about this story. Take care. Bye-bye.